Unlock the stories that define hip-hop culture. You're now locked in to the Terminator Experience podcast, where hip-hop history meets the culture right now. Hosted by DJ DVS and Minor, alongside the legendary Terminator X. We're talking classic moments, untold stories, and the voices that shape the game. Straight from the source. No filters, no filler, just real conversations and real hip-hop. Turn it up. This is the Terminator Experience podcast.
Peace. What's good, people? Right now, you're inside the Terminator Experience podcast. And if you grew up watching hip-hop, we got a very special guest, brought it to the scene in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Ralph McDaniels. What's poppin', my friend?
Uncle Ralph
McDaniels. What's going on, man? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Glad to be here, and great to be on your show. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. So let's just jump right into it as far as your visionary video music box. Just give us a quick rundown of how you came up with the concept, how you started it, and just from the beginning stages.
Yeah, so I started the show in 1983. I went to college for film and TV, and I got a couple of internships working at a couple of TV stations. And the last station I worked at was WNYC TV, Channel 31. And it was a low-power TV station in New York, but it reached a lot of people, And, back then we only had, 15 channels, maybe 14 channels at the most, right? Yeah. And that was one of the ones that was on the UHF. And I said, I want to start something. I want to create something that, I think people in my neighborhood would like. And we came up with this idea called Video Music Box. It was really like a boom box that played videos in my head. That's what I, And we, back then they didn't have a lot of music videos. Not every hip hop artist didn't get a music video,
That's true.
And so we had to really, run around, find the videos from the artist or from the record label, or even just go and catch the artist performing live somewhere. And then we would put that on TV, and that's how Video Music Box started. Yeah, 1983.
83. Wow.
Yeah.
So do you remember like the impact it had on the streets? As far as like you saying, just being something for the neighborhood at first, and when you started seeing it spread out,
Yeah.
Inside of New York, outside of New York, Jersey, also Philly. When did that happen?
Yeah, well, I learned what broadcast means, when we got on TV, because it means a broadcasting of your energy or your signal. And it wasn't just, I think at the time I was living in Brooklyn at the time when I started it. It wasn't just people in Brooklyn. I knew it wasn't because the station was in Manhattan, but it was people in Long Island, in New Jersey, in Connecticut, and then in Chicago, because we were on a satellite, in Detroit, and other areas down south. Back then there wasn't streaming, but stations could download the show if they wanted to play it. Mm-hmm. And so you would put it up on the satellite, and somebody would go like, okay, it's a show called Video Music Box. We can download it and play it. And that's how we found out it was being downloaded and played, because if we didn't know until we got feedback from people in the neighborhood. Yeah.
So like you said, it was early in the game. So when you were trying to find those videos, how did the labels, take that as far as, you wanted to create this platform for videos. And at the beginning stages, like really wasn't a lot of videos. So do you think you kind of shaped that for the labels to start making more videos because of your platform?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I used to go to the labels and say, how come you don't have a video for this song, or Lord Finesse, or you don't have a video for this song, and then they'd be like, who's that? They didn't even know who the artists were.
Wow.
And I'd be like, it's on your label. What are you talking about? And I'm like, yo, this is hot. Y'all got to come out, to the club and see what's really happening, and see it in real time, because I'm just picking up on it either from, being in the club, because I was a DJ too. So I'll be playing it and this song is hot. Even R&B songs and rock and roll songs, whatever it was, I would go to the label and say, yo, I need that Tears for Fear, or I need that, whatever it was, David Bowie, whatever it was, because I saw the way it reacted. Now I'm paying attention to everything. Before I only paid attention to records that I bought. But
right.
Now, because you're playing for a lot of people and you got to do this every day, you got to have something new. You keep it exciting. So you're looking for everything and anything that can move it, And so that's why, I can remember, like Craig Kalman is the president. I don't know if he's still the president of Atlantic Records, but when he started, he had a label called Big Beat.
Yeah, Big
and, he was putting out a couple of dance records, like house records. And I met him. He was a DJ at the Tunnel. And I said, yo, man, you got like a couple of songs on your label you need to do videos for. And he was like, well, how do I do that? So I told him how to make a video. And he said, well, who makes the videos? I said, well, me and my partner, Lionel Martin, we do videos and we could do that for you. So, we started him, or he's a big deal now, but that's how he started. He didn't know. He didn't know the impact. Even Russell Simmons didn't know the impact of video. He knew radio.
Right.
That's where most of these labels dealt with. They dealt with the label, the radio stations, but video was the new thing for young people because we was all watching the video.
Right.
Yeah. So
like TikTok, whatever the new social media is now, the kids is going to watch. Back then, they didn't have nothing else. They had my show. They had Hot Tracks on ABC.
Wow, Hot Tracks.
And a couple other local shows, and those were the places where you saw the videos. Then eventually, Yo MTV Raps came. Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Ralph. You once started a fashion show, I remember. Whatever happened?
Yeah. So the fashion thing, it's almost the same deal, same story as hip hop, right? You had designers that weren't making the usual suits and things that people wore, out when we was young.
Yeah.
Now it's hip hopped out, whatever it is, the latest boots, the hoodies, whatever it was, the jeans. So there was what I realized, and I think that the artists realized, was that they was promoting other people's brands, because that's what we was doing when we just went to the store and bought a hoodie and it said Champion on it. We wasn't thinking that we really promoting them, but we were. And so people started going, yo, man, I'm gonna make my own hoodie. Why am I putting Champion on it when I can make my own hoodie with my own name on it? And so our designers started doing that. So you had the early people like Carl Kanai and Cross Colors, and then you used to go to the in the Coliseum in Queens, you would go get a Shirt Kings joint. And that was handmade. They did that right there on the spot for you, or you come back in an hour and you're good. But those joints was like art. And they were art, not like art. They were art. They was just amazing. And you had to pay a couple of dollars. It wasn't like it was cheap. It wasn't like it was $5. You might pay, back then, $25 was a lot of money. So, you got that shirt made and you stepped out, people were like, oh, wow, that's fresh. That's what they would say. So that's how we started doing the fashion shows, because even though those designers were popular in our neighborhood, nobody knew about them outside of there. So I learned from, I give you an example, Fubu. So Fubu comes to me and they're just fans of the show. They watch the show. One of the guys worked with my mother and he said, yo, can you get me on your son's show? And so my mom calls me. Of course, mom call you. You're gonna say yes, like of course. So they come, 4 guys, and they talking to me. I'm like, "What's the name of your brand?" And they were like, "Fubu." And I, what does that mean? They were like, "For us, by us." And I just looked at them like that was the most incredible thing I ever heard in my life.
I
When they
remember
said,
them days. Yep, absolutely.
you know, I was like, I mean, that's me, and I was like, what? I said, this is gonna sell. People gonna love this. And I said, y'all got you got a lot of clothes. Y'all got stuff made already. And they were like, yeah, they ain't have but maybe 4 shirts. That's all they had when they was talking to me. They was fronting, but but that was the beginning of them taking off. And then they were fast enough and smart enough to get their thing together and structure it so they could be in all the stores, because now there's a need for it, because we put it on TV. Then I gave it up to a couple of artists. We put it in a couple of videos. And then back then, if kids saw something in a video, they was looking for it. If they saw it on Friday, Monday, they in the store looking for it, or Saturday in the store looking for it, So that's how it went.
Yep.
And so another question I would like to ask you: what's the secret of maintaining your success, like your legacy?
Oh man, I think I'm crazy humble. Some say too humble. My daughter says,
I know that.
"Come on, we getting the money. Stop playing, Ralph." But I really got into this because I loved video. I went to school for TV and film, so this was like a project in the beginning, but it just worked, and it kept on going. It never stopped, and so that was one reason. And then the other part of it was I didn't look at it, as to make, money. I didn't go into it with that mindset to make money. So, did we make money along the way? Yes, but we probably made more money in doing projects, like we started doing videos. We did Public Enemy videos.
Yep.
We did X-Clan videos. We did Biz Marquis, all of his videos, Big Daddy Kane. Rest in peace to my friend Fly Ty of Cold Chillin'. He gave us an opportunity, and once we started doing videos for him, but the first video we did was Roxanne Shante, Roxanne's Revenge. Then we did MC Shan, Left Me Lonely. Wow. And that was it. Everything took off from there, but it was Tyrone believing in us and saying, yo, I got another video for y'all. And he would come back I got this guy named Big Daddy Kane. He's the next one. Ain't no half stepping. We just kept on going. Yeah.
So you remember what was the first video you put up when you started your show?
Well, the first video we made was, the first video we made was a freestyle record. And it wasn't called freestyle back then, but it was Please Don't Go by this girl named Niobe. She was on Fever Records. Yeah. When Sal from the Fever came to me and said, I got this girl named Niobe, can you do the video? And we said, yeah. And we did a video, and that was Sal's. When Sal called me, I thought he was gonna come with like Lovebug Starsky or something like that. Like it's like, this is what we're gonna do. I was like, where's Lovebug? Where's all that stuff at? And he was like, nah, this is hot right here, the freestyle. So I was like, all right. So anyway, we did that, and he says that's the first freestyle record ever made. I don't know.
So that was the first video.
Yeah. Okay. And then we did Shantae, we did Shan, Biz, like almost every Biz video we did. Wow. Yeah.
So, for me, when I thought about you, when I found out you was going to come on the show, I was like excited because, when at one point the hip hop videos people started taking it really seriously, like your and making elaborate videos. Like, of course, I'm gonna say Public Enemy. We did some pretty elaborate videos.
Yeah.
Basshead, Night of Living Basshead.
Night of Living Basshead is a classic. Yeah. The song
Arizona.
Yeah.
And there's other folks that did them too. I can't not off the top of my head, but it's amazing to me. Like, especially when I heard about MTV shutting down basically the video.
Yeah,
music video part of the MTV. I'm like, at one time it was all the rage, but I'm like, if people say, "Oh, we in the internet age and this kind of stuff," but still, how did we lose? Like, I know, and I'm sure most people would say YouTube, or we can just go to YouTube and bring up some. But even though you have YouTube, and of course artists still make videos, but I just think it still doesn't have the appeal that it used to have.
No, I
You know
agree.
what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. You know what? And people say that to me all the time. I remember one time I was pitching a show to BET, and I was like, just put it on late night. Like, I used to have the late night shows on, like the Uncut, I think they used to have.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, we have YouTube. Nobody wants to watch videos. And I was like, well, how do you know that there's a video for
Yeah.
this song?
That part. That
Right.
part. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So we're the ones that'll play it, and then they can go to your BET YouTube page, and you guys get the hits. Like, why don't we just do that?
Yeah.
Because if you never saw the video, you wouldn't know it existed.
Yep.
Like if I said, like MC Shan, Left Me Lonely. Yeah, if you came up in that era, you know about it. But if you don't have no recollection of that,
Yeah.
you never saw it, and you might go, "Oh wow, I never saw this in my life." I play videos now, still on Video Music Box. We
Yeah.
still air in New York, and the young heads be like, "This is crazy. I never saw this in my life." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good."
I don't know. I believe in my heart. Without you, I think the video scene would have been very hard for us. I think you're the one that really opened the doors, in my opinion.
Yes,
'Cause
sir.
I had debated with a lot of people. I say, yo, people don't realize without Ralph McDaniels, we probably to this day it would have been hard for us to have a video on TV.
Yeah,
He opened those doors way before anybody. Like, he seen a vision that nobody else seen for us.
yeah,
And I'm grateful, that I got to see that childhood and that moment that you gave us. And you gave it to us for free. We didn't have to pay for it. We
right.
used to go
right.
on TV and watch it. Like, we didn't have to pay per view to watch a video. Like, nowadays, you can't even watch a video on a regular TV channel without you having to pay a cable.
Right,
So
right.
you gave us a freebie, and you opened the door for a lot of artists who probably would have never been seen in a video at this moment, especially the old school.
Yeah.
So you opened those doors, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey,
God bless you for that one.
Uncle Ralph. So what artist did you when you first started? When you started doing videos, directing videos, was there an artist that you when you first saw him, you knew this person was going to be special? That just like as soon as you was like, okay, this is going to be.
Well, like I saw directly from Run DMC, right? I lived in Queens Village, Hollis,
Right.
At that point when they were coming out, or before they came out, and so I watched them on the corner of my block, the young guy, because they're younger than me. But my friend Davey DMX,
DMX.
so Dave and I are the same age. We're the same. We hang out. But Run and them are younger. So Russell's a promoter. He's not a record label person or anything. He's just a promoter who gives parties. I'm a DJ. I work in clubs, throughout Queens, so they know me. And this hip hop thing is starting to grow up and big starting to happen. And Russell says, I go to meet him, and he plays It's Like That on a little cassette, like a Sony Walkman or something like that. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, where's the bass line at? When's the bass line gonna come in? Because everything up to that point had a melody.
Yeah.
And so I'm like this, like, when's the bass line gonna come in? And he was like, no bass line, no melody. And I was like, really? And I said, okay. Now Sucker MC's on episode. I haven't even heard Sucker MC's yet at that point. I just heard, and I said, all right. And then I watched it, and it came out, and it played on the radio. And then in the parks, it was Sucker MC, right? Because it was too hard for the radio. Sucker MC was too hard for the radio at the time. Just like, maybe on Mix Show you might hear it, but not in no regular. And I said, wow. And then I went to the Nassau Coliseum, and it was Fresh Fest, and they performed at the Nassau Coliseum, Fresh Fest '85, and they were the headliners. And it was Run DMC, Houdini, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Fat Boys, and LL had, I think, one song out, and he opened up.
No
And
Curtis. No Curtis Blow.
no, Curtis Blow wasn't on that one.
Okay.
He might have been on the so that was considered Fresh Fest 2 once it got to the Nassau Coliseum. But
Oh, I see. Okay.
like it all happened like kind of like at the same time. Fresh Fest 1 might have had some other artists on it like Curtis Blow. It would have made sense because Curtis Blow was hot before them. Like that was the big thing, the breaks, and Christmas rapping and whatever else Curtis Blow had. But he wasn't on it when it got to the Nassau Coliseum. And I was like, and the thing about the Nassau Coliseum, which really was a broke hip hop as well as it put the light on video music boxes. We were the only camera there. Well, there's 2 cameras, but I never saw their footage. And we taped it. We did interviews backstage. You had never seen like rap artists backstage prior to that. Right. Like I showed every angle I could. Like I was just running from stage to the dressing room. So you see Run DMC in the dressing room. You see Houdini and Jermaine Dupri, as a dancer dancing for Houdini.
Yes.
You see all of this happening, in the Nassau Coliseum. Plus, Cold Crush is there. Busy B is there. Mr. Magic is there. All these people that you just heard their names or just seen their pictures on, Right On Magazine or something like that. You seeing them talking. Flash, you seeing Flash scratch, like in real time, like it's like he's a real person, because even in the videos, you didn't really see him scratching, he was just boom, he was Flash.
Yeah.
But now you seeing him, so that was a big deal. And I remember Fab Five Freddy told me he knew. I mean, Freddie is like a dude that's been doing this forever. But he said when he saw that on my show, he knew that it was about to take off. It was going.
Yeah.
It was going somewhere.
Yeah. Again, I want to echo salute, brother, because I think you're kind of one of the unsungs for in certain areas for the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
Certainly for the video culture. You and Lionel.
Yeah.
You guys, man. Good times.
Are you ever gonna do a book?
So I did do a book, but I did a children's book.
Yeah, I'm talking about you, like your life.
Yeah. So we have, and then I did the documentary.
Yeah,
so
the documentary was dope.
I did the documentary with partnered with Mass Appeal, and then Nas is part owner of Mass Appeal, and then Nas came on as the director, too, which was amazing because I directed It Ain't Hard to Tell for Nas, his first single, or the second single technically, off of Illmatic. And so it was a 360 moment for us, me and him. And, Nas goes, I can't believe that I know you this long. I never thought that I would know you this long. Like literally, like I was in Queensbridge Projects, in his room, with a little TV and taping him, talking about him, and now he's an amazing guy. So, yeah, so that's, I can't think about, I always, and I know anybody who's creative, you guys know this, I'm always thinking about the next thing, like what can we do next?
A movie about yourself? Let's do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the book is possible, but I was thinking about a film too, a scripted film. And so that's something that we have the script now, and we're just kind of getting it together. So that part could come before the book, or maybe at the same time. Yeah.
Now, since you were talking about movies and scripts, you got to let the people know some of the people that came from your camp, from your music box camp that blew up and went on to do great things.
Yeah. Well, of course, everybody knows Hype. Hype Williams. He was my intern. He lived over on Linden, like literally like across the street from Tribe, Q-Tip, and Fife. He lived over there by them. And then he wanted to get into it. And so I used to go pick him up. You know, he was, I don't even know, I don't even think he was old enough to have a license. So he would drive with us, and he worked with us in the art department. And, you know, he liked color. He was a graffiti dude too.
Okay.
And so he went on to start doing videos. And then, you know, some say, you know, one of the best that ever did it in that space, you know. So Hype, Zodiac Fish Grease is still a good friend of mine.
Okay.
He's done a lot of videos for Onyx. He works with Michael Bivins now, Belle Biv DeVoe. So he's on the road with them. A lot of people at BET that became executives at BET, that, they're just professionals in that space. So yeah, you know, the list goes on. What you call them? Not Little X. Oh man, damn, this dude's gonna kill me. But a bunch of cats, you know, from that.
Gotcha.
When they were getting way more money than me when they was doing their videos. Like Hype was doing like $1 million Busta Rhymes video. I was like, how is it possible to do a video for $1 million? How does the artist recoup this money? How does this work? You know?
Yeah.
Benny Boom. That's what I was thinking.
Benny
about.
Boom.
Yeah.
Shout out Benny Boom.
He started with us too. Yeah. And also, you know, the thing I was going to say real quick is that, you know, like you saying recognizing certain things like Wu-Tang Clan, like that literally started in my office. You know, like
Wow.
RZA came in and RZA was Prince Raheem.
Yeah.
Prince Rakeem. Oh, we love you, Rakeem.
Right. It was mad.
Tommy Boy
Was
Records.
mad
Oh,
happy.
Rakeem.
So when he came, that's what I was expecting him to come back with again the second time around. He was on Tommy Boy, and he came in and he said, "This is my new project." And as I'm looking at it, it says Wu-Tang Clan, and I'm thinking maybe that was something that was written on the tape or something. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? And so I put it in, and I'm like, "What is this? This is madness!" Just and I was like, still had the time code on it. I mean, look, I've been around Public Enemy, so I know what noise bring the noise is. So, so I had to, but I didn't expect it to come from RZA. So I was like, okay, let me get my mind right here. And so when I looked at it and I said, all right, so when you finish it, bring it back to me. And he's like, you could play it like that. And I said, but it don't look like it's finished. He was like, no, you can play it like that. I said, all right. And I started playing it, and honestly, and he'll tell you, everybody didn't get it at first. They was like, what's going on? Because God, the sounds from the martial arts movies is a whole bunch of dudes rapping, and it's dusty. What's going on here? But when I listen to it in a club, or when I listen to it outside on a block where they selling drugs and we in the hood, that shit sounds fucking great.
It sounds amazing.
This is gonna work. This is gonna work.
Yeah, let me ask you something else, Ralph. What do you think, right? Because you remember, like, our parents, for them, the music was like the 60s, right? To us, coming up was either the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And we still look at that music like, wow, to us, because, that's what we grew up in. Do you think the music of today is going to be classical, like the music that we had as kids? Or you don't think so?
Yeah. I mean, I listen to stuff, bro, I'm 67.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, what am I doing listening to this crazy?
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you're 100, you think you would listen to today's music compared to listening to something that was played in 88, 85, or in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it's just a memory that's still in our brain somewhere.
Yeah.
That makes us feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't, unless, I don't know, something else comes along that kind of hijacks that. Yeah. But I don't think so. I think I'll always like it. I'll always feel a way when I hear Rakim.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
But how will you feel like when you're 90 and you listening to Cardi B, or let's say somebody of today? Like, it doesn't have that same feeling. Like,
not for us. Maybe
not for us.
Kids.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for those kids who grew up on it.
That grew up on it.
Yeah, they might feel like that. but not for. Well, I don't think
do you think you will get to that point
for us.
Again?
for them, like for the new generation, to feel like we felt with our music? Because I don't know, man. It's like, because to me, like the music they play now is just last like now, like what the music.
Yeah, it comes
when
and goes.
we was coming out, that comes and goes. But our music, even when you go to a club, you still hear our music and everybody still pumped to it.
You're right about that, because the kids that when I go to especially like a younger crowd, when I'm in those type of places, they don't even dance to it. They just on their phone and smoking hookah, and just I guess vibing to it, But when you play, Slick Rick, Run DMC, Public Enemy, whatever, you play that, they all of a sudden want to dance.
Yeah, they
now
want to dance.
that's the dance music now. Besides the Southern Soul stuff, that's it.
Yeah, Southern Soul. That's Southern Soul and the trail ride music. That's some people say that's like the new. That's how hip hop was in the earlier days. Now it's like Southern Soul and the trail ride and the lion dance and
still
that kind of stuff.
underground right now.
So what is trail ride? What is that? I don't know.
Trail ride is. You DV, I'll let you explain.
Well, it's Southern it's Southern Soul, but they have a lot of parties. Like it's like big outside gathering. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much
It's basically Southern Soul and line dancing kind of mixed together, and they have a few extra songs added on. It's basically the same thing as Liquor House music, Southern Soul.
Okay,
that whole.
I heard it. I just didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah. So the trail ride is actually an event. People have trail rides, and some of them are cowboys, black cowboys, cowgirls, whatever you want to call them. But it's a thing going on down in the South.
Yeah. No, I have a house in Atlanta, and like every once in a while, like my brother's getting ready to buy something, probably won't be going down there as much. But I would come across those events, and go just hang out, It was a vibe. Yeah, I got it.
So I'm gonna try to wrap it up. I'm not trying to keep you too long. As I mentioned, I saw you doing an interview about the Coliseum in Jamaica, Queens. That was, man, I know for me and for everybody, I guess they grew up in that era in New York. Man, that was a go-to. Jamaica Avenue. I'm going to the Ave. I'm going to the Ave. And if you were going to the Ave, you're going to the Coliseum. That's going to be one of your stops. And I have so many memories of like Biz Markie was a regular down there. A lot of other rappers. That's where I met the Shirt Kings. You met the jewelers. My jeweler was Benny. Shout out to Benny.
Yeah, Benny's still it.
And this other folks, whatever record stores was there. And it's just it's kind of sad to see that's coming to an end. What is your experiences, I guess, and how you feel about
exactly what you said? I had the same exact experience that you had, because there was nowhere else to go to get the the latest stuff, because you wanted to get you want to look good, So they had it, if it was a certain type of jeans or certain type of sneakers or jacket, whatever it was, you went to the Ave. And like you said, and it was structured in that way. Like Jamaica Ave was a shopping hub, they call, and that's what it was there for. So you had like the Coliseum, before it was the Coliseum, was a Macy's. And
I didn't know. I found that out, but
that's like a high end store back then, and they had other stores like Gertz, and whatever the main name.
I ain't heard that name in a long time.
Right. And so whatever the main stores were, they were in that area. And this is before we had malls. There was no Valley Stream. There was no Roosevelt Field yet.
Wow.
It was just these areas where you went. And you had to be on point, because you could get get jacked over
Oh
there.
yeah,
You can get
absolutely, absolutely. Like Biz,
It was like Albee Square Mall in Brooklyn.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
and then they had. I remember on Jamaica Avenue they had the Wiz. Remember the Wiz?
Wiz,
And,
yes.
you know, Biz put it in.
In the
Nobody
song.
beats the
Nobody
Biz. He
beats
changed it to Biz. And matter of fact, I think they sued him over that.
Shoot him, yeah.
So what's your next project? You got
So
something
right
else?
now, currently, I'm working with the Queens Library. So my whole thing is always been about history and making sure that I can, you know, kind of keep all of this stuff like we're talking about it now in some type of place. So we linked up with the library. I also have my own nonprofit video music box collection, which is over 20,000 hours of video content that, you know, we've shot over the years. So I would hope that folks that are watching or listening would go to .org, and donate, or just, you know, read what our mission is, and they can get involved with it, because if we don't tell it, I don't know who else is going to tell it.
Send me your link.
right.
I'll send a donation.
Yes, thank you.
We got you.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
told you.
No, but I'm saying, because, you know, I'll forget. I'm saying send it to your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna send it. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yes,
put it in
send
the chat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's super important to me. You know, like just making sure that we preserve these stories that we have, that we just shared with
Absolutely.
each other. You know, wherever it is that you came up, because sometimes I think, not sometimes, a lot of times, people take for granted things that exist right now, like it was just like that all the time.
Right.
You know, there was a time when
Absolutely.
you couldn't get no hip hop record on the radio at all. You know, I love Frankie Crocker, but he hated hip hop. You
Yeah,
know,
true story.
you know,
Tom
he also
Joyner
loved-
too.
Right. You know, Don Cornelius. I love Don Cornelius. People say, "What was your biggest influence?" I say Don Cornelius, but he didn't like hip hop.
Nope.
But that was
Nope,
just a
nope.
generation gap. You know,
Yeah.
people didn't get it. But like if we don't tell these stories and keep these type of conversations going, it'll be lost, and there'll be something that AI made up. How about that?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Uncle Ralph, we appreciate you, man, taking time to talk to us. The Terminator Experience podcast, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Once again, wanted to give you your flowers, man. So, you know, just thank you
Same
for
here.
your contribution to the hip hop culture,
Thank you,
doing
thank
your
you.
thing, and we appreciate you so much, my man.
Thank you.
Salute.
Salute.
Thanks to Big Jeff for calling you for us. Thank you.
Yeah, big up Big Jeff. Yes,
Big
always.
Jeff. Big up. Respect.
All right, wrap it.
All right. Take care, my brother. We
Take
out.
care, Ralph.
Peace.
All right,
All right.
Peace.
bye, y'all.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Terminator Experience podcast, hosted by DJ DVS, Minor, and the legendary Terminator X. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and tap in with us on social media for clips, updates, and behind the scenes. Until next time, keep the culture first, keep the sound heavy, and keep it locked right here.